if you can. Oh, my mic was off. I don't know if you can hear me now. Welcome, welcome. If you can hear me, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Something is always trying to happen every time we come on air. I can't find it. I can't find this show. I don't know if they blocked it totally. If you can find it, please share. Help us to share. Someone says okay now. Okay, that's good. But can you, for some reason, I can't see the show on my end. I guess, no kidding. Um, yeah, I'm waiting for anyone to, let me see if it's on YouTube, because I can't find it on Facebook. Let's see if YouTube left it on. Okay, yes, I see it on YouTube. So if you can't find us, go on YouTube. YouTube has it's on. I can't find us on Facebook. I don't know what they're doing. So they just take a few minutes to share, and I will pull up the video of the day as usual, so that we can see what's going on. All right. And the video that I'm going to pull up, we will not play it in its entirety. So we'll post it on our Facebook page and you can go and watch. And also, you can also see the comments that people are putting down under the show to see what people are really thinking. And you wonder if we are planning to go forward as Africans or if we're planning to go backwards when we are playing with the future of our children. Just a minute.
The new year is here.
5 in the morning, and the daily routine has already begun. The Talib, pupils at the Quranic schools, wash in darkness. There's no electricity, no water, and the nearest well is about 100 meters from the school. The day begins immediately with prayers and the recital of verses from the Quran. The students will read them hundreds, if not thousands of times, to try and commit them to memory. The first recitals of the day end at 6 in the morning, and time for the Talibs to head out to beg. Begging is recommended in the holy texts as a means of learning humility. Before leaving at dawn, they shake hands as a sign of peace with this man, their religious instructor, known in Senegal as a marabout. His name is Ibrahim. Each child chooses a bowl, which they will use to beg, to collect donations of money or food. They leave while the town is still sleeping. Take your tins and line up in twos. Who do you usually pair up with? Sora, who are you with? Ames, go with Modu. So, where are you? I'm going with El Hajj. With who? All right, so who's left? Modu, you'll go on your own then. The children in Ibrahim's school, which is called Adara, will hook up with hundreds of other Talibs who make their way into the center of town to beg or look for odd jobs. The youngest are barely 5 years old. They will spend several years at the Quranic school, often not leaving until they reach adolescence. This is the city of Mbour in Senegal, where everything revolves around the port. I came here in April, during the dry season. I was following up a story about a stolen boat and ended up on this particular stretch of the Senegalese coast almost by chance. Mbour is about 80 kilometers south of Dakar, the capital. It's a vibrant, busy fishing port, the second largest in the country. The scene at the port is hectic as the canoes head out to sea, usually for no more than a day or two. Mbour is twinned with the port town of Concarneau in Brittany, which donated the ice factory, and it even observes the typical celebration of Breton culture, the filet bleu. But that was not what interested me. No, what interested me was neither the abundance of fish nor the traditional methods of fishing, but the kids. The thousands of kids who sometimes don't see their parents for years on end. These kids dressed in rags who beg or work doing the most menial jobs available at the port. The number of Talibs is steadily rising, not just in Senegal, but throughout Western Africa. But it's here in Mbour that it seems to be most blatant and most worrying. And it's here I wanted to see how the students live. The boys are not happy about being filmed. Occasionally they're openly hostile. And they always want money or food in exchange. All these kids are Talibs. Most of these children are not originally from the coast. Some even come from neighboring countries. The Talibs are a close-knit little gang in which the kids look out for each other. They beg in Mbour because the port is comparatively wealthy compared to the countryside. In most daras, the teacher has given the kids a minimum amount of cash to bring back. If they fail, they risk being severely punished. Where are you from? Guinea. Guinea. He's from Guinea. He's a Guinean. Can you remember your father? Have you seen your father? No. He doesn't know. He doesn't know his dad. He's never seen his dad ever since he's been here. I've hired a guide with whom I walk through the small streets near the port. His name is Babacar. In the evening, when they get back home to the Quranic school, they have to bring something. Everyone brings something: money, food, sugar. Each little talib has to bring his marabouts at least 150 francs. Their parents are still in villages in the interior. As they can't afford to look after them, they prefer to hand them over to the teachers of the Quran so they can be educated. But not all the teachers give the children a good education. Some of the kids spend all day out in the streets begging. Sometimes they even steal to get enough. How much do you have to bring back each day? 500 francs. Otherwise, they'll beat them up. The marabout's behavior doesn't seem to upset anyone. Indeed, the majority of Senegalese seem to accept it. He says the system of the talibs is a good system. Does he think the children should go out begging? Yes, he says he does.
All right, this video is quite pathetic. We'll allow you guys to watch in its entirety. Basically, in 2024, our brothers and sisters are quite okay with dumping their kids under the hands of an illiterate man, parading as a Quran teacher that can't even teach himself. And people are dumping their children under his watch for him to raise. Most of the times he's not there, he will leave his son there to take care of them, and basically their job is to go and beg. At the end of the day, if you don't have enough, they will give you the kind of beating that you require to know how much to get the next day. If you watch this video in its entirety, at the end of the day, these kids end up running away from that so-called Quranic teacher. They end up in a swamp where they are using all kinds of drugs because they have been abandoned by the society. Nobody is looking out for them. They are using drugs because somebody obviously introduced them to the drugs, and they say it makes them feel good. As we are speaking, they are sleeping with each other. Those young boys, because people will come sleep with them, teach them that evil practice. They will continue to practice it on themselves. And it's just unending stories, as we are speaking. This video was recently done, I think it was this week. So in 2024, this is the plight of an African child. And yet we are so educated, so educated by the colonial system. And we cannot use our education, like we've been saying on this show, to do anything better for our people, to improve their lives. Rather, we'll use our education to intimidate them, to make sure that before we come out, that we are called doctors and lawyers and engineers and this. And we are watching our brothers and sisters, our little ones, the so-called future of Africa. We are watching them go down and down and down. Please continue to help us to hit the like button. Yes, usually they are at it again. But what they don't know is that, what we are doing is offline. This is just for enlightenment purposes. So continue to help us to share. I'm going to pull up the video of our sister Arikana, who is buttressing what we've been talking about on this show, because some people say, oh, they don't talk about against educated people, this and this. We are super educated. We have so much degrees that when we start whipping it out, people are like, are you guys mad? But what is the purpose of the degree or the degrees if we cannot improve the lives of our people? What is the purpose of the degree if we cannot make any sustainable change that we can see? What is the purpose of the degrees when we are just still sitting under the colonial mandates? We are not looking at the future of our children. My sister is finally here. I will allow her to add. Please continue to help us to share and like. We understood that if you keep hitting the like button throughout the show, it will help to remove the blockage that they have on this. Because right now nobody is watching. When I know I have two devices watching, and my sister is on, so you can see that they are seriously blocking. So let me allow her to add on to this show while I try to pull up the next video. Sylvie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, good. So let me remove this one. Even okay, go ahead. Go ahead and say hi to our audience.
No, still go on. Continue, please. Continue what you're doing.
Ask her if she can hear noise behind.
Okay.
If not, you hold it and I'll change it.
Continue with what you're doing,
Okay.
please.
Let me see. How do I mute you? Okay. Awesome. All right. So it's like she's not quite ready yet. So let me pull up the next video of our sister again, stating what we've been stating, that the most dangerous Africa is the colonized Africa, because a lot of us are still carry on the mandates of our colonial bandits. We are not letting it go. We are still comfortable with taking pictures with our whitewashed Jesus, Arabi's Quran. That's all we're doing. Nobody is talking about what we can do to help the indigenous peoples return back to their roots and be who God has made them to be. So our brothers and sisters that have been taught overseas, or even in our system, because it's the same people that came to teach us how to teach, and we're using that teaching process to teach our people, and nothing is coming out of it. Our people are continually struggling with understanding what is it that we need to do to move forward. Everybody have their own ego. They think it's about them, it's about you, and we're talking about our collective well-being. That if you continue to go, oh, I'm okay, bunch of birds flying up, and then when one gets shut down, you look around, you say, oh, thank God it's not me. Let me begin to fly some more. And you're not stopping to ask, why is it that your brothers and sisters are not flying anymore? What stopped them from flying? And you are okay. You are so okay with allowing our children in 2024 to be begging. You lock them up in so-called Quranic school. You with an illiterate man that can't even wash his underwear. And people are just having kids and dumping them there, dumping them like they are nothing. Yes, this morning there's another story that came out that Senegalese are leaving their country in drones, even though they are drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. These people are so desperate, and if you look at the numbers, I bet it's a bunch of these children that they've dumped over some Quranic school. They don't get to see their parents. Can you imagine leaving your parents home at the age of 5? You don't get to see them until you become a drug addict and end up somewhere else. Whew, what a tragedy. Let me not get overwhelmed, because there is work to be done, and that work we must complete. So, this is our sister again calling out our brothers and sisters to rise up and do the right things. Rise up. Nobody's going to do it for you.
African of today is an African who is colonized, educated or not. What is our education doing to us? What have we done to undo the colonial education? I hear right here in Ghana, perfect example. There's not a single Kwame Nkrumah book that is required reading in the Ghanaian educational system. Whose problem is that? Most African countries, our educational system is still the colonial educational system. So what do you expect from the leaders that we have today if their education remains colonized? It is the educated who are refusing to challenge the status quo and speak on our behalf, educated or not.
You can say that again, Sister Dearest. You can say that again. You can say that again. We ought to be embarrassed, all of us that have undergone this so called education. We should be embarrassed. And then the ones that are not educated are supposed to insist on our cultures and heritage to be taught. And you guys are sitting in silence thinking that you're going to take money and eat and then die and leave your children to suffer their own, into their own peril, is what I don't understand. It's just what I don't understand. It's mind boggling. Sister, you steady now?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, our viewers. This is Sister Queen. I'm sorry I'm out of station. I hope I'm coming out well. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Sorry, have you played the video for the children
Yes.
begging?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then just continue, please.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Our brother
So,
here says the former governor
mm,
of Kano State, Ganduje, who is now chairman of Nigeria's ruling party, the APC, boasted that during his tenure, that the Kano State alone has no less than 3 million alamajiris. So alamajiris are what we call those children that you just saw in the previous video, and the Sharia knots. No less than 10 million alamajiris who can be deployed, oh my Jesus, to win presidential elections any day in Nigeria. The Caliphate elite issues these children voters card PVC, a case of weaponizing ignorance and poverty for the purpose of illicit outcomes. We are not surprised. We are not surprised. But what they realize is that these children, we live in a global village. As hungry as they are, they see what other people are doing. They see that in China, that people are sitting in classroom trying to learn how to build the next technology that can take them to, outer spaces. They see all those things. So it's not like back in the days where you can sit in your own village, you don't see anything. And when he begin, now they see it, and they will be coming for them sometime. Soon enough, they will come for them. So they are no longer enough. If you watch that video to the end, you will see that the young boy there was worried about buying a shoe. Before, a village person, which what concerned them and shoes, they can walk barefooted for the rest of their lives. But this child, he said, I want a shoe, I want more. Even in the midst of his alamajiri walk, in the midst of living in gutter, in toilet, he's saying that I want shoe. So they can't keep doing all of these things and things. For now, it's working for them, but anything has an expiration date. Soon, this lifestyle, this deceit will come to an end. And we just don't know how it's going to end because, like we keep saying, if this whole thing happening in that region is gunpowder waiting to explode. Where it's going to damage, we don't know yet. So let's go back to our topic today. We say that the most dangerous African is the colonized African. So when you look at the waves of invasion, adoption, and killings in Abuja and various areas across Nigeria, it would be criminally naive not to recognize the orchestrated escalation of the conquest onslaught. This is according to Nina's statement this January of 2024. So while the Western world grapples with trivial debates on unconventional marriages and indulges in the sensationalism of self-centered sexual escapades, it remains oblivious to the dire realities of food in Africa. Our struggle on the continent revolves around whether our children will live or perish, whether they will sleep with full stomach or go to bed hungry, or whether unemployed youth will resort to desperate measures such as trekking barefooted through the desert, clinging to airplane. We have seen so many numerous incidents like that, clinging to airplane wings, or braving the perilous Mediterranean Sea to escape the ruthless onslaught of massacre and terrorism in Africa. The most disheartening facet of this situation is the complicity of certain Africans who aid the West in this neglect and cruelty against indigenous peoples of Africa, especially in particular today, Nigeria, who we know their sovereignties and their development have been stolen, systematically plundered at the altar of Western greed and gluttony, making them unwitting accomplices in the sufferings of their people, on ending sufferings of their people. So, as usual, today we'll continue to equip the indigenous peoples on the pathway to self determination, restoration, and national healing. So when we say that we want people to understand what the issues are so that we can move forward in unison, so that when we are going forward, we understand what we're trying to do, that it's not about us anymore. This is not a competition going on. This is about being well informed so that we can understand what is doing us. And when we
Yes.
understand what is doing us, we will fix it. And when we
Hmm.
fix it, we'll move forward because there's work to be done. There is so much work to be done. So we cannot be stuck on one thing because whoever thought that we're here to do competition is all about them. So I will pull up the PowerPoint while my
Thank
sister.
you, thank you, thank you so much. It's not about anyone, it's about our people. And this is what we try to make them understand. Because each time we say that this is what is going on, some people that have in laws, that have friends, have colleagues that are enemies, keep putting it as if it's about them. Meanwhile, it's not about them. It's about the dire situation that our people have found themselves in. And it has to be fixed ASAP. We cannot continue to tell stories. Imagine what is happening all over, everywhere. Even people that think they are safe in their homes are not safe. Even the so-called Abuja, they are going into their homes now, their estates, to get them out. We are telling them that everybody will chop breakfast. Last, Nigeria will happen to everyone. And it's time for us to do what we need to do to get our people out of this dangerous situation. Yes, so the topic, like my sister has said, the most dangerous African is the colonized African. I'll yield so that my sister will continue. Thank you, Sister Mona.
Thank you so much. So we cannot proceed without once again reminding ourselves that these people are on an agenda for, Islamizing the area. They are not relenting. Is their forefathers say states or their great grandfathers say states? And if you see, whenever these colonial monsters and bandits, whenever they left Africa, they handed us over to the Fulanese to make sure that their mandates are being carried out. If you go to Cameroon, it's the same group of people causing mayhem. If you come to Nigeria, it's the same group of people causing mayhem. And then on top of that, they are using religion to Arabize and then whitewash every one of us. So that when situations are being presented, we are leaving it to the Lord in prayers. When our lives are being endangered, we are leaving it to the Lord in prayers. When we know that the reason why people die easily is because we don't have hospitals. Pastor Gio, Papa Gio and his group of so-called pastorhood will tell us to continue to pray and fast and believe God for miracle so that money will fly through your phone and come into your account. These are part of the deceit that they have been used to destroy our people. Why they sit down and order Uber Eats? Uber Eats. As I'm speaking one day, I told my son he's not gonna eat. Before I knew it, the sister ordered Uber Eats from him for him from some other states. So these people are sitting here enjoying, and our children are using Concom container. And the only thing that looks clean around those children is that Concom that they have, that container. Their clothes looks clean, teeth, hair, shoe. They don't even have shoes. That company, they have enough money to buy a container they will be using to collect goods for them throughout the day. And we're telling you that we live in a dark estate, dark Osman Danfodio estate, that who said that they must ruthlessly prevent a change of power, use the minority as the willing to and the South as a conquered territory, and they will never allow you to rule over them, and they will never allow you to have control over your future. Please continue to help us to hit the like button as you watch. It helps to counteract their blockages. They are at it again. That's all they can do because they want you to remain in dark ages. And then when you come to their borders, oh, illegal immigrants, illegal immigrants. What are these illegal immigrants doing? When you guys are continuously, systematically stealing resources from Africa, installing puppet leaders that will carry on your biddings, nothing is moving forward, and you want people to sit around and wait for death to come. Unfortunately, they can't. Is innate in us to want to survive. Even animals. I was watching a snake one day trying to climb over the damn snake with my car. The thing flew. I didn't even know that a snake can climb trees. Hey, this snake flew so fast to the tree. I took my car. Run. Even though I was inside the car, I was terrified. I said, oh, this is how much even a snake wants to survive. This humongous snake. So you don't go and damage people's country and steal their resources and then expect them to sit there to be terrorized by the Islamic terrorists and gang members, and you want them to sit there and not come to your border. They will come to your border. They will come to your border. The more the European Union makes rules and regulations to discourage immigrants, the more they come. And you think by now these people are smart enough to understand the roots of this problem. You think by now with doing my hands they are smarter than the whole continent. And they don't understand is their role, the role that they're playing, that is causing all this distress. So let's move forward. Today we are going to look at characteristics of colonized Africans, the dangers of mentally colonized Africans, stolen sovereignty, and the deception of so-called unitary Nigeria. And while we cannot proceed with 1999 Constitution, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. We cannot proceed because the tool of governance is a tool of destruction. It's a tool that will never allow you to move forward in anything, no matter how much you put. It's like you pouring water in a basket. You can imagine unending job of you trying to pour water in a basket, knowing that it's not going to contain that fluid. Understanding the double stand of US on ethnic cleansing in Nigeria, because whenever it has to do with brown people, it doesn't matter. They wait till water start flowing them like Rwanda everywhere. Then they will come out as Omu Jesus, Christians. Now it's enough. You can stop. And then lastly, we are going to look at the strategies for the indigenous peoples to deal with these colonized brethren that we have all around. When we're telling them that we move forward, they will say, oh, my daughter is married to Fulani. My brother is married to Hausa. Ndemo is married to Ndemo. And we're saying we are dying. Oh, I went to school with them. They are my brothers. As a matter of fact, they are more brothers than my own brothers. And we said our people are bleeding to death. They are dying. Oh, yeah, the blood of Jesus will come in between. Our Father will do it for us. Oh, my son just got visa to Canada. And me too. I have an appointment next week to go to Canada because I will run out of here. So what's going to happen to the widows and the homeless and the children that doesn't have any parents? Oh, we will take you to the Lord in prayer. Heartbreaking, to say the least. Characteristics of colonized Africans. They are always brainwashed against their people. They don't want anything to do with the identity, spirituality, or ancestral lands. That's what happens to people. They don't know who they are, that don't know who they are. They can be anything. They can be talking online. They think it's cute. They will pierce their nose, pierce their stomach, pierce their umbilicals, pierce their eyes, pierce everything because they don't know who they are. They will add butts, extraordinary butt, extraordinary breast, because you don't know who you are. They will go and blow up their lips again because you don't know who you are. They have damaged your brain so much that you're trying to be who you're not. And people are dying in drones. Brainwash. As they're brainwashing, as God will have it, it's also affecting them. Their children. The headline is this week that children people under the age of 30 are now using Botox. They are using Botox to prevent wrinkles. So you'll begin now. In 30 years, you'll be seeing aliens walking down the street because that's what they're all gonna turn into their faces. The same people will use our resources to exploit our land. And our brothers and sisters will help them because they will get their own cuts. They will reward them with visa. Oh, if you buy a house in America, you will get green card. You and your family will get green card. If you in making an investment, you will get this. So that's why all these years, African leaders will steal from our people. And Switzerland will, nicely take it in for them and keep it for them. The same thing with America. Babangida bought so much high rise in the Atlanta area when he was a president. So you do what they want you to do. You get your own court, you get your own visa, you come and live in the golf course in Atlanta while our people die. They will give us false spirituality. Have our children locked up. As you watch that video, they were asking the children if they knew what they were saying, the meaning of what they're saying. They said they don't know. They said that teaching will come later. So he had taught on how to ndara, to be repeating stuff over and over and over and over again. Quite disturbing. False heritage. Again, this is characteristics of colonized Africans. Our brothers are here. Oh, they like the fact that the American citizens, they can go to, home, show off for holidays, show you that they can change your dollar and get more money. And then they will come back here and complain. So they have designated our place for a place to show up, because here in America, nobody knows them. All they do is to run in circle. They have parties among themselves and go to work and come back. They don't know the politics. They don't know what's going on in the neighborhood. They don't know who their mayor is. They don't know. So every Christmas they will die. Put money, put this thing on a credit card to go home and go do shakara. As we're speaking, a lot of them have bought their grave sites over here in a place of that they came for economic. What is the word it's called again? They are all hiding here. Our brothers and sisters are dying, and all you guys want to do is to fly from your so-called foreign land and show up on Christmas to open your house, to bring security to this. None of you will gather together and say, how do we improve our place so that it can get better? No, God forbid if we think about that. Chief will come back. Eza Batago. The hungry women will be dancing for him. With his security, when he leaves, my people are left with nothing. These people will continue to work with the enemies, and they will continue to see them as their friends and as their colleague. Please continue to help us to share. A lot of trolls are coming in. They will promote criminals and disguise them as investors, whereas they are exploiters. If they are really, really, truly investors, they will care about why is it that Nigeria is a disputed project and why is it an open-air prison? Because that's what it is. Nigeria is an open-air prison trapping the smartest Black people on the face of the earth. And they are busy playing with our minds. If you are a true investor, you'll be asking, why do they have widespread insecurities? Why is there absence of rule of law? Why is the country a theater of war and blood everywhere? If you are a true investor, you should be asking about the judicial system in the country, such as what law governs contracts and direct investments in the country, and what happens if these contracts go bad. None is asking about that. They will allow people to come and buy lands inside our villages, causing erosions everywhere, cutting trees, nobody is planting another one, and our people are busy thinking that they have arrived. Look at just common rain in Congo the other day. The amount of plastic that ended up everywhere. This was this week, or was it last week? It's more than water. They have destroyed the environment. Ignorance. The mother nature that's supposed to they're supposed to mother you and be the nature that you're supposed to promote. You litter all kinds of trash in there because you see, I don't know, man. You guys are mad people. You drink your water, plastic water, you throw it across the road everywhere, as if when it rains, it's going to melt and decay. If the government is against you, must you be against yourself? Let's look at the dangers of mentally colonized Africans. Like you saw in that video that we showed earlier, how this Ibrahim guy gathered our children all in the name of going to beg for money for him while he sleeps. No, his 20-year-old son, Mohammed, is now managing it for him. They are using religion to destroy the next generation. They are not looking at the outcomes of these children that they claim that they're training. At the end of the day, they are all drug addicts. Nobody is looking for them. The parents that gave birth to them is thanking God they are no longer their problems. Oh, I have handed it down to Allah. Allah will do it for them. When your child, your children, they have been turned into drug addicts. They have turned into there are the groups where people will go and sexually molest these children at any point in time. Nobody will ask any questions. Sharia law and underdevelopment of children is going on. Children are street begging, child labor everywhere. The same mentally colonized Africans, they will use outdated and backward Islamic practices, such as illegal marriage and disempowerment of God children. These children are losing their childhood and proper mental development. All you have to do from morning to night is be going like this for 8 hours, then you go and beg for another 8 hours. They say they can't even get enough sleep, feeling dizzy most of the time. These children are homeless, as we know, because a lot of them run away. After they beat them and beat them, I know it's not just beating, after they beat them and rape them, a lot of them will run away. Imagine sitting in so-called Quranic school, reciting something that you don't know what's the meaning for 8 hours. No sleep, no health care, nothing, no proper nutrition. If you don't beg and beg for food all day, then you're on your own. And then we are looking at these dysfunctional children who are supposed to be the future of tomorrow. So what kind of adults are we looking forward to? When we create dysfunctional children in the next 10 years, let's say they are 12, in the next 10 years, they're going to be 22. Now they are considered adults. What are we going to have? Dysfunctional adults. You see how we'll be running in circles. So that when you don't put anything, children are like a brand new computer. They are whatever you download in them. If you download nonsense in them, they will turn out to be nonsense. If you break them down at the age of childhood, they will continue to be disorganized human beings and keep having mental problems. So you can see that these children, if they give birth, they are not likely to take care of them. If they get married, they are likely to abuse their wives. They are not likely to be responsible citizens of the universe. They won't have anything to offer you because most of the time they are so addicted to drugs that drugs will be calling their names. And to make matter worse, because they are sleeping with each other as male children, they are likely to get married, give their wife disease, and still go back and sleep with men. Back to square one. Do we have the hospital to take care of this? No. Do we have the healthcare facility to take care of all of this? No. And we are all watching. And then when you go to all these places that is in an abject poverty condition, the first thing you will see is a massive religious center, either mosque or church. Everywhere you go, people will be dying of hunger, and the most beautiful cathedral or Quran church or whatever they call themselves, Mamihana was a church, will be all nice in the midst of the hungry
Mosque.
mosque, my dear. Thank you. Just look at it. Everywhere you go in Africa, people will be dying of poverty. There is no job. There is no hospital. There are no good roads. Nothing, nothing, nothing. But the church will be standing still. The mosque will be all good. They will be going there brainwashing people, and they will be thinking, oh yeah, we're the children of God. We can stay in church for 8 hours and food will fall from heaven and come into our noses and digest into our stomach. Disgusting and disturbing at the same time. I will let my sister continue.
It's so terrible, and it's so sad when land is full of resources and our people are dying. In fact, are dying because of the resources, because that's why they're holding us down. So I want to look at stolen sovereignty and deception of unitary Nigeria. Stolen, please excuse my voice. Stolen sovereignty and deception of unitary Nigeria. a note on history. The May 29th, that is the so-called Democracy Day, celebrates the day the sovereignty of Yoruba land was hijacked by the unconstitutional suspension of the Western Region Constitution. That is the People's Constitution. By who? By Caliphate, under the tutelage of Britain. That May 29 that you people are celebrating, Yoruba land, Yoruba people, listen to us. That May 29th that you people are celebrating as Democracy Day is the day your sovereignty was taken away from you as a people. That's what they're celebrating. We talk about the January 15th, the so-called Armed Forces Remembrance Day. It's actually the day they took away sovereignty from the peoples of old Eastern region. That's what they're celebrating. The massacre of the people and their children. The genocide that happened 1967-70. Yet to be discussed. Nobody's talking about it. You sweep it under the table. And then people will talk about Holocaust. But how about our own Holocaust?
No,
We have not
yours is
spoken about it.
under the table, like you said.
Yes, I forgot we are not human beings.
We're not.
So all these and more self-deceptions are the undoing of the so-called one Nigeria, the undoing of Nigerians, and the handlers of caliphate and British colony called Nigeria. This is how it happened. So this is why we cannot proceed with the 1999 Constitution. Remember that Constitution is a mold from which all laws are made. So since 1999 Constitution is structured upside down, everything that is based on it is upside down, including your nation, including your country, is upside down. There will never be any rule of law and good governance under that book of Lucifer. This is a constitution that hijacked at gunpoint the sovereignty and economic assets of the indigenous peoples. Are we talking about our oil, our gas, gold, bitumen, everything? That 1999 constitution took away the assets of the people. And they're pretending that the people brought and surrendered these things themselves. They lied against the people. Meanwhile, it was hijacked. And they're still holding on to them under the gunpoint. If you make any noise, they will come with their guns. This same constitution made the ethnic peoples permanent political minorities. This constitution. Under this constitution, I will repeat it. The ethnic peoples, all of you, you are permanent political minority by those who gathered at Abuja, pretending to be representing you. They are not representing you. They are
Nope.
representing their pockets, their stomach, their children, their mistresses, their wives, and everything. Not you. Definitely not you. That is why you're suffering. That is why you're going through what you're going through. These same people that are swearing to uphold the constitution that has enslaved their own people. It's not like they don't know what Ninas is saying. It's not that they don't know what we're saying. They know. They know that you can never thrive under that book of Lucifer. But they made up their mind to continue to uphold it, refusing to embrace this peaceful mechanism of constitutional force majeure that was done on the 16th December 2020. A mechanism that will stop the elimination of their own people and give their people a safe home. They refuse to embrace it. Why? Because they are all beneficiaries of
Mhm.
what is going on. They are benefiting from it. So the next one we'll look at is understanding the double stand of US on ethnic cleansing that is going on in Nigeria. US is standing on a keg of gunpowder by the present US administration that is pretending not to understand the terrorism that is going on in Nigeria. They do as if they're not seeing it. But what they don't know is that they are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. You all must remember that before this present administration, the past US administration and the affiliates understood the situation enough that they placed Nigeria on terror watch list and country of particular concern, CPC. But this present constitution came, a present administration came and turned everything upside down. If you look, as if US is standing here, as if they're standing there. So it's like double standard. Yet, over 100,000 deaths, 100,000 people are being massacred. The CBN News, a news station at US, call it slow motion genocide and ethnic cleansing. As we speak, 3.5 million people have been driven out of their ancestral homes and rendered them homeless and jobless. Yet people are pretending as if they don't know what is going on. So we're saying that the failure of US to stand up for the defenseless people and the oppressed people, and their failure to speak up and call a spade, all this will only help to expand, embolden, and empower the terror network residing in Nigeria. Please, can we go to the next slide?
I think this is a good point to remember. Whenever the so-called religious groups, whenever they come to Africa to dig wells and dig boreholes and do all these things and build school, we are using this opportunity to ask you guys to ask your government to stop meddling in the affairs of other people's nation, to stop putting in people that are not able to run the country, to stop allowing people that are subjugating their people to benefit from that. Until they do that, we don't need any borehole. We know how to dig boreholes. We don't need
Exactly.
any schools. We know how to build schools. We know how to teach. We have doctorates. We have PhD. We have all kinds of things to take care of our people. The power that be will not allow our people to be. And this is what we need people to understand. We know that it's not the American citizens that are causing what's happening or the British citizens. It's the people that are running the countries that are causing all this mayhem. So you church groups and members of association and all these people that are wondering what's going on in Africa, go and contact your what is it called, your leaders. Go and contact your leaders. Ask them what is it that we can do for Africa to thrive. What is it that you guys can do to allow Africa to prosper? Because we cannot continue with this, especially if we are so worried about illegal immigrants. People need to be able to live in their ancestral lands and not be afraid of being killed.
Exactly. Exactly. So if America continues to do what America is doing under this present administration by having a double stand, they are only expanding the terror network, and it will go around, it will hit everyone. People will say, last, everyone will chop breakfast. If you do not stand up to speak up for the oppressed, eventually The terror network will grow so big and it will go round. This serious threat is not only to America, it's to the entire globe. Everyone will be affected. What is going on in Nigeria is disaster waiting to happen. It is US national security challenge. Because the world is now a global village. You see, when people brought COVID, did it not spread everywhere? Did it not affect everyone? That's the same thing with terrorism. If you continue to allow terror to grow in one part of the world, pretending you don't know what is going on, giving it all different names and interpretation, whether, what are they even calling it? Climate change, headers, farmers,
My head that's clash.
clashing, lying to yourselves, deceiving yourselves. We can assure you that this breakfast will go round. This disaster is waiting to happen. Like my sister said, citizens of the world must talk to their country. They must stop playing these games that they're playing because it's coming for everyone. It will happen not just to the Americans living in Nigeria, but Americans also living in America. Remember 9/11. Remember the Christmas bombing. Terror is not waiting for anyone. It's not going to hide. It will spread everywhere, which is why it's so important for people to know what is going on so that they can play the role they're supposed to play. It is important to understand what is going on. Very important. If you continue to allow yourself to be distracted, the network will continue to expand, the evil network, until it cannot be contained anymore. This is when to stand up. America cannot continue to have a double standard. They must stand against terror, and so that it will be taken care of. Thank you. So we'll look at the strategies for the indigenous peoples to deal with their colonized brethren. Remember the topic we said that the most dangerous Africans are the colonized Africans. Because like my sister broke down, when they are colonized, they will colonize the next generation. So we cannot allow them to continue to do what they're doing. So what do? We need to identify and isolate them. They are all in your midst, in your villages, in your families. They are there. If you follow the characteristics that my sister enumerated at the beginning of this show, it will be easy for you to identify them. It's not difficult to identify them. When you identify them, isolate them. Stop recognizing them. Stop celebrating them as your leaders and leaders of thoughts and opinion molders in your communities. You're not helping yourself. You continue to promote them, you continue to hype them. Meanwhile, they are there sent to destroy you and your children. Stop inviting them to your functions. Render them useless and unimportant, like our forefathers and ancestors will do. That's what we call in my culture, imapu mother, imapu excommunication. If you are not helping the community, you will be excommunicated. That's what you need to do. You need to begin to treat them like the cow dung and leprous disease that they are. Criminalize their actions and boycott them completely. They are not for you, so you don't need to be for them. You do not need to be for them. We can do this, people. We can do this. The situation is not hopeless because of Nina's template for self-determination. If you can embrace, if you can give minutes to understand that template and stop running around and getting yourself distracted, understand it, embrace it, teach your people. Before you know it, we'll be done with this project. I'll leave my sister to break down the strategy more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for trying to show up even when it's difficult. Um, right, the strategies for indigenous people. So it's a no-brainer. We know what to do, and it starts with us telling ourselves the truth. If we begin to tell ourselves the truth, oh, this whole thing will end. This is not complicated at all. This is not organic chemistry, guja or full physics. This is just identifying who the enemies are, identifying what the issues are. Just a simple root cause analysis will bring an end to this. Because when you break it down, you see who is doing who they are working for, and then you see what the outcomes of what they have done for the past how many years now is. And then you look at the other ones. All we have to do is copy and paste. We copy and paste the good things that we have seen how it worked, and things will move forward. So it's not that difficult. Continue to help us to share and like and hit the like button. These people are it again. You can see we are not just fighting algorithm, we are fighting principalities as well. So let's
We will win. We are going to win. We win. We win.
yeah, the principality, they haven't seen black people like this before. Huh, talk really. All
I'm
right,
telling
let's
you.
continue with our Nina's 5 point agenda, which is the acknowledgement of the constitutional grievances that we raised in the union dispute, a commitment to decommission the imposed 1999 unitary constitution, no further elections under this 1999 constitution, and then we're allowing the constituent peoples of Nigeria to work out the modalities for transitioning. We are still insisting on transitioning. Announcement of a timed two-stage transitioning with firstly multi-regional referendums for the constituent components. These are the indigenous peoples, so that they can recommit or opt out of the Nigerian Union, or by the second in the second part, they will distill the terms of union based on what we got from the referendums. So it's not that complicated. We need to get these things done. Nothing is working. You guys are under state capture. The inflation process now is ultra. It's not even ultra, super inflation that is going on. Nobody can afford anything. Nothing is working. Not that's the whole thing has come to an end. It's just the same few people that are sharing money that are sharing money. Even their money now is not enough. Because before, people like Ojo Zokano will boast, oh, I'm feeding 300 people in my house.
I'm telling you.
Why are you feeding 300 people?
John,
Why is that? Why is it okay for you to be feeding 300 people in your house?
imagine that.
Why don't they have a job? Why are men hiding in your house?
Imagine. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Yeah. How is that a measurement of success that you're feeding 300? We don't want you guys feeding anyone. Let people go and work hard and get money for themselves.
Exactly. And be independent by themselves. I'm
It's
independent.
So we want to change. So on one 18 Abia State, nke na-eti Enugu na Nnewi, ọnwa abatago, the big guy, because we are begging you, please help us to build a nation, so that when your light goes up, our people will still have light. Because we are begging you. All the ones, we are begging you. The people that will come in with 5 million armies when our people are living in insecurities, we are begging you guys, please, please, let's overcome this thing as if it's all about us. Let's overcome this plight that we are having as Africans, like we are not enough. So we are always pushing to be more than we are. We're always trying to exert ourselves over our siblings. We always want to tell you, Maponya, do you know who you're talking to? Please, please, we can see that it's not working. Nobody will survive on their own. Even Russia, as mean as they are, the president is still coming out on air, begging people, trying to woo them. The other day, he came on air and answered questions for 8 hours. At least you Mariana now. Mariana who can na-ewutu. Eh? Mariana who Bukata no otu lara ụlọ gbacha Christmas onye ọbụla agbasa. Nobody sat down to say how are we going to fight this insecurity that is going on. We thank our brother Ijele that is doing a good job calling out all these criminals all over, pretending like as if they're doing something. We thank him. He is fighting a war that a lot of people should be fighting together, calling out evil. And that's the only thing that will give us, that will allow us to win this process. Calling evil out for what they are. Always
Exactly.
saying the truth no matter what. Eziokwu bụ ndụ. Ya bụ na anyị chọọ life, anyị ga-ekwu eziokwu in abundance. Truth must be said in abundance. So we thank all those that are, working hard to bring out these criminals. We thank those that are also telling our people that when you're sick, your healing is not in mosque. Your healing is not in church. Your healing is you going to get a diagnosis so that infection can be healed properly, so that the surgery can be done properly. Can we do what works, our people? It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. We just want more for our people. We're not even asking for Uber Eats online. All we're asking is for people to go to school and come back and then have hope that if they work hard in the next 10 years, they can get a job. If I sell my land in the next 10 years, my son or my daughter can get a job that can allow me to buy an additional land. Is that too hard to ask for? We are not asking to go on vacation on $10 million yacht. We're not asking to fly to the moon and come back. We're not asking to even go to Djibouti and come back. We're asking, can we live in our ancestral land without the fear of being neutralized? Is that possible? Can we go to our farm and, plant our vegetables, get bitten by mosquitoes, get, bitten by whatever, and don't come home in hopes that even with all our hard work, when the harvest season comes, we will make enough money to at least send our little child to school if that's what we desire? Is that too difficult to ask for? Is that too difficult to ask for people? No, it's not. So you don't go and set everybody, every place on fire, release Islamic terrorists on every place that you go, pay them, give them money, leave weapons for them and run back where you came from. And then when people come to your border, you start shouting illegal immigrants. They want to leave just like you want to leave. And then we'll end with our announcements. We'll continue with the spotlight on the wisdom of our ancestors. If we listen to them, we'll be doing well. They told us so many stories, from folktale stories. They told us who they are and how they, handle problems. We've learned so much from our ancestors. So we need to go back to them. I love, love, love when people start doing their DNA and they go back to see who they are. You can see how their lives are changed instantaneously, because there's nothing more powerful than knowing who you are. Where did you come from? Who made you up? And even having names. I remember the first time I saw a picture of my great grandfather. I used him as my profile for almost months. I felt like I have seen God. And I can see the resemblance of him in my father. There's something that it does to you when you know who you are. And that's why people shouldn't follow people that don't know who they are. People that have been destroyed, they are all over the place because they don't know who they are. For we know who we are. We can trace our ancestry lineage. My sister want to add something because I'm not on the screen.
No, I say yes, my dear. It matters so much. Identity is crucial. Like you said initially, identity, our heritage as a people. If you abandon that, you have identity crisis. And when you have identity crisis, that's what is causing all this inferiority complex and feeling of insecurity. You feel you're not enough. You want to have the rich eyelid before you feel you're beautiful. And then you go and bring the breast of 20 people to add before you feel that you're beautiful. Open and ezu. Ijenata and kazu. Kwanye nazu. Then until your waist will look, I don't even know what will be happening to your knees. These people do not know that what they're planning, that their knees, your knees, and these doctors will not tell you these things. They will collect your money. You will go and carry excess weight on your backyard, loading excess weight on your knees. You see, how you live today will determine how you will age. These things you're doing now and having fun, I'm telling you, in 10, 20 years' time, you will be sorry what you did to yourself. All the cartilages in your knee, trying to carry this weight that I don't know who is teaching you to carry. Because you're feeling you're not enough. Why not even ask yourself a question? Every time you keep doing this, has it made you to now change and become a different person?
No, they're still sad.
Have you seen that the greatest thing you can do to yourself is to build yourself inside, inward, starting with getting your identity. Find out who you are, who your ancestors are, and then build from there. We told you that the greatest thing they did to us was suspend our civilization. Our ancestors were on a journey before those marauders came to put a hold on these things. That's why we're going back to our roots, to know who we are. We said that we are so diverse. We are so diverse that you cannot use one system to join all of us together and say we are one people. We are not one people. We are many peoples. And is our right to decide how we want to live. That is what is called self-determination. So please continue to share this program and other Nina's programs that are teaching our people about the importance of having self-determination. All the ethnic nationalities must retrieve their sovereignty. It is not your National Assembly. It is not those criminals that are there sharing your resources, stealing everything. It is the people. The people are the ones that are constituent members that will make the constitution. We don't care what they're saying. They want to amend it, they want to do, they're just fooling around. We are going to go back to the roots, where we are coming from, and then we will build from there. It is only then that we can get the type of life we want to live. They've done it in Europe, they've done it in every other place. Why can't we do it? We must end colonization. We must. We must end this project. Colonial project, neo-colonization, we must end it so that we can give our people the type of life that they deserve. I'll read something here that Ninas wrote. He said, these thoroughly debased and abused children are the feedstock to the Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen, ISWAP, and other terror franchises breeding and spreading all over West Africa and the Sahel. Absolutely. This is how the Sharia and feudalist caliphate knots. Sorry, I pulled it out. I didn't finish reading it, but this is how the Sharia and feudalist caliphate knots have turned that part of Nigeria into a huge liability to the rest of Nigeria, especially the South and Middle Belt. Violence is their chief tool, and so the entire Sahel is dripping with blood. And Nina's saying that we are able to end it. How do we end it? By taking back our ancestral lands so that we can protect our people the way we are supposed to protect them. Thank you very much.
My dear, it makes sense now. When you are abandoned in a Quranic school from the age of 5, and you were taught just to be swinging your head and singing va 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 for 9 hours, and you do it for 10 years, you have nothing. You're not human. You're not human. So it's okay for you to go and run into the village on December Eve and begin to neutralize people. You don't even know what you're doing because they are all high on tramadol. They have used them, they don't have human sympathy. And when you corner any of them, I was watching a documentary, when you corner any of them and sit them down, they said, There's nothing else for me to do. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what this is what I was taught. I don't know how else to
They
do
lack
it now.
skills. No skills. No skills.
Nothing.
It's just that
Nothing.
ba 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 for how many years? What can they do? Jobless, homeless. What do you expect? Go ahead, please. Continue.
It's heartbreaking. So we are not surprised that this is what we are going, and the more is coming. More
Yeah.
is coming because things
Mhm.
are harder. If things were a little bit better, some people may manage to use their whatever they sell on their farmland to keep their children still within the family. As you
Yeah.
make hunger to become this intense, people are going to be willing to release their children into these terror acts, and we are planning to live in a better world. I don't know, my people. We have to do better. We are all
Yes.
accountable for this. And you being ignorant or you pretending like, oh, Obasam, one of these days, Oga Obasam, one way or the other.
Exactly.
And you're
Mhm.
not waiting for you to become a victim before you learn and start screaming. We are asking for you to rise up now. There is time so that we can do this right thing once and for all, so that it will be good for a man, a woman, the children as well, even our animals that lives around our homes. We
Exactly.
want better life for everybody involved. Again, we are not asking to go to a 1 million yacht to go and have a birthday party. We're saying that we want to be able to live in our land, sell whatever we sell, and be able to take care of our children for the next generation. That's it. Be able to have our children have their own children, and watch them grow. That's it. Nobody is asking you to go to the moon. Nobody is asking you to wear a 1 yard aqua for a second aqua $3 million, or a Versace bag for 5 million naira, and this and this. Nobody is asking for that. Just security so that people can work hard and watch their hard earned time become something that they can use for the future. It is sad. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, I'm going to post that video in its entirety on our Facebook page so that if you want to watch, it's also on YouTube. If you want to watch it in its entirety to understand the damage, this thing is so bad that even the adults around, most of the adults around are okay. They say, oh, yeah, send the children there. That's where they go and learn Quran. Quran to do what? To do what? None of them is overseeing what is happening to those kids. They see them on the road begging all day. They are not doing anything about it. People have been brainwashed that they think it's okay for children to be living like that, and they want to have a future.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible.
All right. Until next week, our people,
Thank
take care.
you.
Bye.
Bye.